All right, it's fatty time. Fatties, beautiful little, often complete meals, all in one sort of rolled sausage meatloaf stuffed with awesomeness, bacon wrapped, and then smoked. What could possibly go wrong? But today we're doing a little bit of a spin on it. What are we doing?
We're doing turkey.
Turkey dinner fatties. So instead of using pork or beef like we normally do, we're going to go with seasoned ground turkey. It's going to have mashed potatoes, there will be stuffing, there will be bacon inside of it, cranberry sauce, and of course, a lot of bacon. So let's get going. For the mashed, I know a lot of people prefer russet potatoes. Those work awesome. These are some garden potatoes from my in-laws it's a mix of red and purple skinned potatoes. After those potatoes are cooked, we're going to use a potato ricer, or a food mill as it's sometimes called, which is the best way to mash potatoes and actually get all the lumps out. So let's go ahead, let's fire some in here, kiddo. Keep going, you can just keep popping them in. Once we do that, start to turn it here. Yeah, go ahead. So I have a lot of potatoes. This was like 28 medium-sized potatoes that I boiled and riced, and they are ready. I'm making a lot of fatties, so I need a lot of potatoes. I'm going to be adding a whole whack load here of some fresh chives that I chopped up. I got them out of the greenhouse. I'm adding some 14% sour cream. This is probably around a cup and a bit here for now. Might go a little bit more, just depending on texture. Adding probably around a tablespoon or so of salt. And then we're going to give it some fresh cracked pepper. I'm gonna mix this all up and we'll see if I need to add anything to it. Now to that, I wound up adding a little bit more of the sour cream and the rest of those chives. So it's just shy of 2 cups of sour cream. I added about another tablespoon of salt. I don't want it too salty because everything else is going to have salt in it too, and I don't want that to be overpowering. Now it's time to prepare it. I've got a large baking sheet here with some parchment paper down. I'm preparing this the day before, and I want to be able to make it so that it just comes out of the refrigerator tomorrow and goes on as a nice sheet right onto the fatties that we're going to be making. The way that I've got this planned out is that these are the bags I'm going to be using for prepping the meat, and this is basically 2 fatties per sheet. I'm going to spread this out and get it so it's about a 1/2 inch thick. So I have it laid out here, and I made sure that when I was looking at the length here of what is going to be my meat sheet, it's not going the full way because this will be the bottom layer of stuff on the actual meat, and I want the meat to be able to come together and actually kind of pinch together just a little bit. So that's perfect. I've got these stacked and plastic wrapped, and they're just gonna hit the refrigerator overnight. For some extra flavor, we have some herbs here pulled out of the greenhouse. I've got parsley, there's rosemary, there's thyme. I'm gonna get this all chopped up, and that will be going into these fatties. In the noble spirit of getting as much bacon into these as possible, I also have 1 kilogram of bacon ends that I picked up, which was really quite inexpensive, and it's just going to be chopped up anyway. This will also provide me with some awesome bacon grease that we're going to use for the stuffing. For our stuffing, we're starting off with some French baguettes. I can't help but think of Garth Ennis and Hitman with Jean de Baton. Anyway, we're going to get cracking here. Just going to slice into a bunch of this, just cutting her into chunks, and we'll go from there. Using that bacon grease, we're gonna fry up all of our veg. Starting off, this is 3 onions worth of onions. And then this is about half a whole celery and a few big carrots all nicely chopped up. And we also have like a full bulb of garlic that's been chopped up in here. Alrighty, assembly time. Step number 1.
Big ol'.
Gotta grab my little, yes. Gonna dump all that in there, so we chop that up. Oh, what's this little grease? Let's get that in there. Yes. Then, speaking of grease, we've got all of our veg here, which this isn't like 100% sauteed, it's pretty close, but this is going to cook twice more because we're gonna be roasting this as stuffing, and then it's going to cook when the fatties are in the smoker. So let's just get it all, oh yes, in here. Very aromatic.
Are you drooling as much as I am?
I am. Paging Dr. Pavlov. There we go.
Nice.
And we also want to get in, so these are those chopped herbs. I did add just some dried sage to this because I guess we had to cheat in some respects. I didn't have any sage in the greenhouse. This is a big, I'm going to say we're probably adding just over a cup of fresh-ish herb to that. We're going to toss it all up. Got some kosher salt. Going to add, well, that's a teaspoon. And a little bit more. You can go with your favorite stuffing recipe for this. Just kind of making this up as we go. That's how we like to do things.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Ooh. I also have some rehydrated wild mushrooms. It was about a cup before hydration. Now the reason that I wanted to do that as opposed to just using fresh mushrooms is because you get to use the liquid from the hydration, and this is like super, super rich and earthy, and that's going to go right into this stuffing. Oh, smell it.
Love it.
And the final step for now is just some homemade chicken broth. This is a cup of that. Tossing that in. Give this just a nice little toss. Then we're going into the oven. Again, that's sitting at 350. We'll be keeping an eye on it, tossing it, possibly adding, well, almost certainly adding some more liquid as we need to. We're cooking some more bacon just because. All right, it's been in there for 40 minutes and we have been tossing it every 10. We're going to add one more cup of that homemade chicken stock and a little grated Parmesan cheese because, yes, we'll toss it and get this back into the oven. Taste it. Taste it. We will listen. So that's been in there for an hour. We've been turning it every 10 minutes. If we could engage smell-o-vision, I think you would appreciate it. This is amazing. And now for one of the most important parts of this entire operation, the bacon weave. We're going to be going with a 6x6 bacon weave. When you go to do this, it's best to pick up, honestly, almost the cheapest bacon you can, provided that it has some structural integrity and isn't like shredded. Thinner is better. Never go with the thick cut bacon. So to start off, so I've got 6. I'm going to fold over every other one. I'm just stretch this across. Tuck up, fold like this, another one, again stretching just a little bit here to get a little elongation out of it, that's a fun word to say, and repeat. And there we are. That is the last one. You'll notice I'm doing this on plastic wrap. That means that I can stack them all up, and this plastic wrap is really going to help us when we go to actually roll. Oh, here comes more. When we actually go to roll the fatties out. Look at that stack. Nice.
That stack.
We're also going to need cranberry sauce in there. This was 2 600-gram packages of frozen cranberries. I've got a 1/4 cup of this sort of sugar in the raw I'm firing in here. I'll throw in a splash of some tawny port here. Could also use some red wine. Gonna add a cinnamon stick in there too. Just stir it in. All right, now to this, I've got half of a navel orange that I just sort of chopped up, as well as some zest from it, so just over a tablespoon of that zest. And we're gonna let that all break down. Cranberry sauce is done and cooling down. We wound up adding a total of 1 cup of that darker crystallized sugar and then a 1/4 cup of white sugar, and it is delicious. We also threw in a full cup of pineapple juice, and that gave it some nice liquidy goodness. All right, we are at a very important part of this operation, which is making our turkey sausage meat. So we have 1 1/4 pounds of, this is like ground turkey or minced turkey. To this, we're adding a teaspoon of paprika. We're going with roughly a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going with a teaspoon of kosher salt, and then somewhere just over a tablespoon of that same fresh herb mix. And my hand model here is
Oh, thank you.
is going to mix that whilst I prepare the Ziploc bag. So the trick here is mixing it up, but trying not to completely overworking it. Not completely overworking it, yes. So now we're using these 1-gallon Ziploc bags. Got a little meat on me. And I'm going to zip it up most of the way, like 80% of the way. Now, just kind of technical term here, smooshing it around. We're going to create a nice uniform meat mat. sounds delicious, doesn't it? A meat mat throughout. You could go with just a pound of this, but I think it would be a little too thin, and then you'd be lacking when it came to your meat. And that's probably not where you want to wind up. Just gonna do this.
A sheet of meat.
A sheet of meat. Just like that. This is going to make building the fatty far easier. Right there. Let's repeat. I'm super mad that I didn't film the beginning of actually cutting this. It went through all of this super well. And this is just dividing these potatoes. I gotta get through the bottom one here still. It's dividing all these potatoes into half, which is going to be exactly what we need for each of the fatties. Whoop, just like so. All right, it is time to assemble. So I'm going to take my meat sheet, copyright, and it's sad to waste the Ziploc bags like this because I know they're not cheap. However, just because of the ease of use here, I can't not do it this way. So we've got that meat sheet ready to rock. Now, I'm just going to flip like so onto the bacon weave. Give it a little wiggle. It's a little straighter. So we have our bacon weave. We've got our potatoes. Again, flip number 2. This one here with the parchment, you can actually wiggle it around and adjust if need be. However, that was just fine. Then onto the stuffing that I have right here, putting it around. We were discussing earlier that the biggest issue with this is trying to resist the temptation to overstuff. It's like a taco, it's like a pizza. I always just put too much stuff in everything. I'm waiting for somebody to like yell at me. Okay, I think we're good. And now our cranberry sauce. Sweet drizzle. Yes! And now, time to roll. So this is where having this plastic wrap kind of makes things a little bit easier. You pull it, I'm gonna slide the whole thing this way, and use it.
And overstuff.
Yes, of course it's overstuffed. I knew this was gonna happen. Right? We're gonna do that. We're gonna kind of squeeze it a little bit, and then we're gonna just get an additional piece of paper. Oh yeah, plastic wrap. We're gonna have to transport this over there to do it so that we've got a clean surface. On a different part of the island, here we are. Yes, just putting this over here, and I'll let you do a little roll. We're going to do this, it just kind of helps compress everything together, hold the shape a little bit better. I'm gonna treat it like the world's cutest, fattest little sausage. Beautiful, just like that.
Ta-da!
And repeat with all the rest. Since there is zero refrigerator space in my house, we're throwing these in the freezer just to firm up a little bit. We're gonna go fire up the smoker. So for the record, we used 2/3 of the stuffing there. The rest of this we're just gonna package up, and we get to heat that up when we go to eat the fatties. Flame on! Firing up this charcoal here with the grill torch. Got this off Amazon, absolutely love it. Works super well for this and for starting fires. So yeah, we'll get this charcoal going. These have chilled down for 30 minutes. I just lost my slipper. And we get them into here. So the smoker isn't quite up to temp yet, but it is getting close. So I might as well get these on here, which is easier said than done. Plastic, sweet. We're just going to place them all into here. There we are, placed. Gonna let this thing get up to temp. Very excited. All right, so after just about 5 hours, these are all done. A handy little meter plus probe in there, letting me know that we're at 160 degrees. So the smoker here was running at anywhere between 200 and 250 degrees during that smoke. Woo! Gonna fire these all into this meat lug. Get them inside. Let them cool down just a little bit. here we are on some cooling racks, letting these just chill out a little bit so that they can be packaged up. So here we are. Now, look at that. These could be eaten fresh right out of the smoker, nice and hot. However, we weren't having those for dinner tonight. They're going to be packaged up and consumed later on. So here we are ready to vacuum seal. I've got a food saver. This is a 3800 series model. I've had this for quite a few years, but there are some good options out there these days. I kind of prefer these vertical ones. I find they work a little bit better than the horizontal ones. There we go, and let's repeat. There we are, all packaged up and ready for the freezer. So we're Thanksgiving camping here, and it is time to have this turkey fatty. So this fatty here was vacuum sealed and frozen until we needed to bring it out here, so we were able to do this a week in advance, which was really nice because that has made prep work today incredibly simple. Still smells amazing. All right, so let us begin to slice in here, just using a sharp knife. As you can see, we got all our beautiful layers here all set up. Fatty interior close up. So we've got the bacon weave, we've got that seasoned turkey, we've got the mashed potatoes, then we've got this awesome stuffing layer, and of course the cranberry sauce. Everything we need except for the gravy. Okay, I may have lied that was everything we needed. We do have some awesome Brussels sprouts here with bacon, almonds, pomegranate, all kinds of good stuff here. Whew. Got the cast iron griddle nice and hot. Some bacon grease melted onto there. It's time to load it up with fatty delight. So we know everything here is already cooked fully. This is just about heating it up. Ooh, getting a nice little crispy edge to it.
What did you say earlier? Paging Dr. Meyer?
That's right. You get a little all right, so let's see if we are ready to flip. Ooh, we are. Look at that. Gorgeous. And we are now ready to remove. Are we going to cheers our fatties?
I think we are.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
buddy.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah? Wink.
That's so good.
The whole meal right there. And the gravy on top. Gotta drown it with that. Delightful. That's taking Thanksgiving to what?
Taking it to?
Camping.
No.
11.
There we go.
11.
Thank you.
Hey!